What the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck is up with dick babies? Oh my god. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been reading a lot of fucked up shit lately, and that's pretty fucked up.
It takes the cake.
Yeah.
That was like the greatest thing I read in a long time.
I mean, it's Kirkman, so I'm not really too surprised. Like, having no context, and you're like, die, and I've read it, I've seen it.
Well, they set up the premise more or less good enough in the beginning.
Kinda. What the fuck's a dick baby? Like, I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
No, it's the male contraception.
Yeah.
Or that's what they're trying to push.
Yeah. I didn't picture him having a baby.
Well,
like, fuck, man.
The issue before that maybe was a little bit better. They have like a cabal going on in the White House, and they're trying to think of like the most fucked up scenarios to help like push their goals along, so they can control the masses or whatever. And they have like the ridiculous, preposterous ideas, and this one guy is like, dick babies. And then they actually implement it.
All right, guys, that was Toucan Rant. We'll see you next time. Like, what the fuck, man? Oh, my God.
Well, no, I thought it would fit in a little bit with the whole Department of Truth nonsense and all the other shit that you've been reading.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought that was a funny ass panel. I lost my shit when I
more or less, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you maybe didn't have like the proper build up, but
no, payoff was still there. Yeah, no.
All right, so.
That
was a nice addition.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta do that.
Welcome to Toucan Rant. We're just two toucans with two tall cans who can rant because we got two tall cans. I'm JD.
You've been practicing, and I'm Jeremy.
I haven't been practicing shit, man.
Rolled off the tongue.
Yeah.
All right, so a long time have not been here. We were gonna record last week, but
dick babies happened.
Well, dick babies, and then you decided to like be in contact with somebody who might have COVID, and I was in a job where like if I had to isolate, that whole department was fucked.
No, I wasn't in contact. I was like 3 people away from patient 0.
Yeah. Well, in the position I was in at work, I was like, I can't risk it, Yeah. As Kai says, I cannot risk it for the biscuit.
That's... Where did he pick that up?
I think they said it at school to him. And now that's a whole thing.
But
also last weekend, Kai was really bad. So, like, it's good you didn't come over.
Yeah, but it's usually at night after he's pissed off to bed. So.
True. Very true. So, anyway.
But, yeah. I like your Hellblazer poster.
Yeah.
It's the first time I noticed it. If it's been up there multiple times, I apologize.
It's brand new. Just got it today. Steph got that for me. Didn't think it was possible. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. I'm very, very happy and proud of that poster. I've been trying to put more stuff up on the walls down here in the hopes of maybe someday, eventually, we'll get a camera. Maybe.
Amazon Prime Day was earlier this week.
Yeah, dude, I spent like $300 on Prime Day. I don't want to talk about it. Oh. But my Christmas shopping is pretty much done.
Oh, well, that's clutch then.
And I almost bought a TV.
Ooh.
But I didn't.
A smart TV?
No, like a 65-inch TV.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Yeah. Well, all those video games I play, pretty much just Mario Kart. Mario Kart on a 65-inch TV would be pretty cool, though. Yeah.
Oh, have you seen I don't know how it works, but the VR Mario Kart? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. And I'm like, I kind of want it. I don't know. It's weird.
When that come out?
Recently. Like, within the past couple weeks. I saw previews of it. It's expensive.
$250?
No. I thought it was like $150. Did you look at the pricing on it? No. I think it was like $150. But you get one cart. See, that's the thing. You get the cart in the game. I didn't see any option to buy another cart.
Oh, so it's just pretty much single player?
Yeah, I mean, it's single player, and then there's like... You race against other virtual cars that are in the race. But it's it's a cool concept, like building your own tracks and stuff, but like I don't know, it's weird. It was just a weird thing to me. But like, you hit mushrooms and you speed up, and like they were showing like the video camera of the RC car part of it, and like it goes faster. They showed the difference between 50, 100, 150, and like the speed of the little remote control car. Like it seems like a super cool concept, racing around your house. It looked cool. I just that's one of those things, and I think it's not so much nowadays, but maybe just from growing up, like you see this stuff and it's like, oh my god, this is awesome. What? Yeah. Just give me one sec.
The earliest beer break
Sorry.
ever.
Yeah, sorry. No, not tonight. You gotta go to bed. I'll be up in a minute. Go get in bed, okay? I know, I'll be up in a minute. Fuck. Anyway, it just seems too good to be true. Like growing up, you saw these things and you're like, oh, that looks so awesome. And you get it and it's like, well, this doesn't work at all like how it said it was going to work. So I'm kind of skeptical on that. But I feel like nowadays things are a little bit better. But yes, I do need to take a quick beer break and I apologize.
All good.
Anyway, Mario Kart.
Yeah. No, it says you can play with up to 3 other people, or 2 other people. I don't know how you get...
Well, and you can play online too. Like, I just don't know if you can have like 2 RC cars in the same room. I would think so. I don't know.
It'd be interesting to know what the distance is on it that you can control it. Because the Switch actually controls it? I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, that's the other thing, too. Like,
So it's a Bluetooth
do you look
connection?
at the screen, or do you look at the car, or what do you
I think
do?
I think you look at the screen.
Yeah. It's just weird. I don't know.
Because depending on how far the Bluetooth capability is or Wi-Fi, however that works, like you could make up some pretty sweet, elaborate tracks with obstacles and shit, like mini golf.
Yeah, well, and that's what it seemed like people were doing with it. And like I said, it seems really cool, but like how big of a track can you make and how far can you go? And there's like these little cardboard things that you got to set up around.
Yeah, the gates.
Yeah, that the camera recognizes. And I don't know, some of them seem pretty big. I would think if it's a Bluetooth connection, like, I don't know, there's times like I can pick up Bluetooth from pretty far away, so.
Yeah, I know my headphones and the phone work kind of far away, and not really that far. It's like 30 feet though, but I don't know if that's just the capacity of that device emitting it.
Yeah, I know when Kai's like tethered to my phone as a hotspot, that's over Bluetooth. Like, we can be pretty far apart. There's times I forget something in the house and I run back in and he's sitting in the car and he stays connected, so.
I just know, like, the PlayStation, when I was doing, like, the controller and the headset, like, the headset would work kind of through, like, 3 walls, kind of, but it would cut in and out.
Did you know you could pair your PlayStation controller to your phone to play games on your phone?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's just this revelation that came to me. There was some dude, like, making like 3D printed things that'll make your PlayStation experience better. And one of them was this thing that went on his PlayStation controller that held the phone. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting concept. So I Googled it, and like, because those controllers are Bluetooth, your phone can recognize it as a Bluetooth device. And then there's certain games that support it. So like, obviously my mind went to racing games, but I'm sure there's a lot of different games, and there's like a lot of racing simulators that
Fortnite.
probably, and like there's games like I always like saw, and I'm like, that makes no sense if you don't have a controller. Like, how would you fucking play that? And then my mind went to Mario Kart because they have the Mario Kart app.
Yeah, but
it's not supported.
It's like that's a gotcha game.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the controller is not supported on that, so I was thoroughly disappointed.
They make controller adapters for your phones.
But I'm just saying, like, if you have a PS4 and you got one sitting around, you know.
But the problem is I don't have a controller yet, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just saying, if you do, and, you know, I'm just, especially, like, you're traveling and shit.
Nah, yeah. But I could just use my computer, too. But
Yeah.
the problem is you have to be on the same Wi-Fi connection for it to work. To, like, be playing your games.
What do you mean, same Wi-Fi connection?
Like, I can stream, or I can...
Oh, onto your computer.
Yeah,
okay.
So I'm assuming the phone would be the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have the actual thing there and be on the same network for it to connect and communicate properly.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more hardware to carry around, but so I'm good with the Switch. Whenever I feel like gaming, which has been a little bit more recently with that Hades game. It's fucking dope. But it's hardcore grind, but there's a story in it, and the grinding mechanic makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, it's not.
You know where I've been. I've been painting and reading crazy shit and listening to crazy podcasts.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really felt like reading since after Battlegrounds. Fucking thing burnt me out in a good way.
I had a hard time getting into... What did I read after Battlegrounds before Secret Machines? Oh, Batman. Grant Morrison Batman. I finished the omnibus. That was really fucking good.
Worth recommending?
Is
Is it better than Doom Patrol?
It's different than Doom Patrol. I mean, Doom Patrol is like a good on a whole nother level. I don't know. Grant Morrison just... He does it right. Obviously, he's as big of a name as he is because he obviously does something right. I enjoyed it because it was... Like, you know how they really criticized King about deconstructing Batman and all this stuff, but, like, I honestly think everybody does. It's just how far and in what way they do it. Because there's, like, Grant Morrison does some crazy shit with Batman's dad, too. Not the way that Tom King did,
But that wasn't a deconstruction of Bruce Wayne and Batman. King basically just made him like a broken man, child, kind of sad, mopey person. Like all his other...
I mean, you could argue Morrison, like, I don't know, Batman locks himself in or he does the Buddhist, not Buddhist, but the not a parapet, whatever. And he goes into a cave for, I don't know, I want to say 30 days, but that's probably not right. But, like, the main villain in this is, fuck, I can't remember his name. But there was something when Arkham Asylum where they put Batman in this chamber for a week, a sensory deprivation chamber for a week, and he's, like, supposedly went fucking nuts. I don't know, one of the arcs is, like, the death of Batman, or the death of the Dark Knight.
Wait, Batman dies? What? Bruce Wayne dies again?
Yeah. And, like, I don't know, this first omnibus, Damian wasn't in it as much as I would have liked. He was in it a lot in the beginning, but by the end, like, he was kind of... Because he's still playing both sides. But Raja Ghul and Talia Ghul are, like, really... Or Raja... Are really in the book. Like, he's coming back, and she's fighting for her right to lead the... what the fuck is that syndicate called?
Yeah, just blanking on it.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. Anyway, it's really good, and like I said, when I get the second one, which might be a while because I've been blowing a lot of money on a lot of weird shit. I'll finish. I've been blowing a lot of money on a lot of weird shit. So like, I don't know when I'm gonna get it, but I'm gonna get it, and I'll hook you up with my Batman inks because I won't need those then.
No, you got a hardcover? You got an omnibus of it?
Not yet.
Oh,
I'm
you're
saying
getting
when
it?
I get it.
Yeah.
I think that's in the second one. So, yeah. I'd recommend it. It's definitely cool. It's different. It's mystery Batman. You know, he's trying to solve a mystery, but like shit's really fucked up. And he like gets involved with a fucking woman again. Not Catwoman, obviously, but then she like double crosses him, which, you know.
Do you think Batman would be able to detect that?
Well, in this story, he didn't.
Yeah, but he's the world's greatest detective, so even the world's greatest detective gets fooled by the heart.
I'm just
and the
gonna
matters of
say
the heart.
the world's greatest detective really gets himself into some sticky situations a lot for being the world's greatest detective.
Yeah. Well, isn't Bobo better than him? Wasn't there?
Oh, Detective Chimp?
Yeah.
A lot of detectives
Well, there was that.
in Detective Comics.
Yeah. Fair point. Fair point. But the Batman 80th anniversary or whatever, they had that whole like detective thing, and Batman was like the last one to join. There were a bunch of other people in there already.
Right.
I don't remember who
Yeah.
was all in it.
Fuck, man. See, that's the... Oh, my God. That's the problem. You shove more books in your head, and then, like, something's got to leave, right? And, oh, man, I'm having a hard time keeping track of everything. That's just, like, fucking Prime Day. So, on Prime Day, everybody else fucking has sales because they want to compete with Prime. So, Barnes & Noble had their, like... I think it's their, like, classics collection where they, like, do their own hardbound books thing. And I don't know why I looked, but I looked, and there's, like, a whole Norse mythology one, which I had never, ever, ever seen before, and I was like, well, I need that. Like, real fucking bad, because I keep looking at the Poetic Edda, and I want to get that, but this seems more entry into it as opposed to like actually reading this stuff, because I was reading excerpts and they take excerpts from the actual story and I'm like, or the poem, and I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. So then there's an explanation of what's going on and I'm like, all right, I get it now, and I like that. Like,
So you just need an annotated version of this.
yeah, it's pretty much what it is. I think it's kind of like when I read the Odyssey. Like, I haven't read the Iliad yet, but I've read the Odyssey a couple times in the past, and like, they're not the easiest reads all the time. You know, there's, at least for me, I don't know, I feel like it has to be spelled out sometimes. Like, I told you that one time, like, or recently, I'm like, I don't feel like I fully get certain things. Like, I do, but I'm not able to articulate it until someone asks me the question, and then I can, like, be like, oh, yeah, bop, 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 bop. I think that's kind of like
some of those poems, those epic poems, are a little bit trickier to read just
right.
because they're trying to follow a certain pentameter or whatever it is.
Yeah. So, to get the fucking 50% off, then I bought the collection of Greek myths, because I'm like, I like that stuff. So I'm going to get that too. And, like, I also had that book that I read that was more like an explanation of all the stories and, like, all the gods and goddesses and this and that and everything. So I think that's going to pair up well, because I had to get the 50% off, you know. So I bought those, and then I bought a backpack, because I'm like,
important.
My backpack is a piece of shit. I need a new backpack. I bought, oh my god, fucking Prime Day, man. Fuck Prime Day.
I don't know how I missed it.
I don't know. They emailed me, and they're like, hey,
Yeah, fuckers didn't email
Jeremy,
me.
look, are you a Prime member?
Yeah.
Oh, they're like, well, I shop a lot on Amazon, though.
I've been buying books recently.
So much so, they're like, hey, Jeremy, look, the long Halloween. You can save $5 on the long Halloween. Not the greatest deal in the world, but you know what? I thought about it for a long time, and I'm like, no, do not buy stuff for yourself. And then I sat there, and then I'm like, what? I can get a fucking, what is it called? A sous vide thing? It's this kitchen appliance where you cook in hot water, and you can, like, no, dude, these things are fucking baller. Like, you can make, everyone thinks the crock pot's great. This is, like, fucking great, because you can put it in like a vacuum sealed bag. So you're literally cooking it and holding it at these temperatures for a long ass time, like fucking beautiful roasts and all this shit. Fucking 50% off, man. So instead of $400, it was $200, and I'm like, yep, I'm buying that. And then I went nuts.
Then it was all over.
It was all downhill from there. Oh, I got Kai some manga.
Ooh, what
I got
manga?
Yokai Watch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got the first 3 of those. Dude, they had, oh man, that TV. It was only like $300 for a 65-inch TV.
That's good 4K?
Yeah. Smart TV.
But
like, the fucking works, dude.
But you didn't get it?
No, I told myself I couldn't buy anything for myself.
But it was for
And then I went and bought stuff on Barnes and Noble.
But it would have been like the house TV?
Nah, Steph won't let me put a big ass TV in the living room. She says that's too much TV for our small ass living room. So it would have been down here, which would have been pretty baller.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someday we'll get there. We'll get there. There'll be another Prime Day.
Yeah. Next year. Why was it Prime Day? There's something with the date lined up. It's going to be a prime number.
I don't know. It's every year. It's the same. I thought it was the same day every year.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just Prime Day, dog.
Yeah.
Then they're like, when do you want your stuff delivered? And I'm like, I'll wait. Picked Monday. It all showed up today. And I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to go in the basement and open up like all these packages. Like I had fucking 8 packages on the door. And I'm like, fuck, you could have put it all in one box. But like there was Christmas presents for family and there was Christmas presents for Steph and Kai. And like, I'm just like, you guys got to go away. So anyway, Prime Day. Fuck Prime Day. And it's 2 days now instead of 1 day.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Soon it's going to be a whole week.
Probably.
Week. Yeah. No, because I just got Chainsaw Man, 7 Deadly Sins, and One Punch Man. Like the mangas.
On Amazon?
Yeah, like last weekend or the weekend before. Oh, relatively recently. But they didn't send me anything. So I guess I saved money, which is good.
Yeah. Prime
I
Day
guess.
is a bitch, man. Especially like, I'm just sitting there scrolling. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Steph's like, what do you want for Christmas from my mom? She's asking. I'm like, I want some knives. Give me some good kitchen knives. Like, our knives fucking suck. Because I was going to buy some for myself on Prime Day.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten into smithing.
No, man. I have too many expensive hobbies.
Well, but this one actually has practical utilities.
And I could sell said Smith knives, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And engrave them with your name.
Where am I going to
symbol.
put a fucking forge, dude?
You got a garage.
That's true.
You could build a forging shed or
That's
whatever.
true.
A smithery. You could build one.
Blacksmith shop.
Yeah.
Ye old blacksmith shop next to the weird ass neighbors. Be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could bring them over. Show them how it's done.
No.
Maybe they're actually master forgers.
I mean, they seem to be out of that time period. I don't know, man.
They might just be like the ones with the weird basement thing, like to the left of your house.
God. Yeah, I don't know, man.
That maybe they got it already downstairs, and they'd be like, "Hey, why'd you go do that? You could have just come over here." And
No, it's true. I didn't think about that.
they're actually time travelers from the
Don't say that. I already thought that.
Middle Ages.
I already thought that, man. I already thought that. I'm reading some weird ass fucking shit. All right.
So how does the weird ass fucking shit tie into the Department of Truth by James Tynion?
Oh my God, you have no idea. So, like, this whole idea of a whole fucking government department dedicated to conspiracy, cover-up, creation, I don't really know at this point.
It seems like conspiracy prevention.
Nah, I don't know about that. How is it conspiracy? The fucking... It's the dude who's part of the conspiracy.
Wait,
Why would they have kept him?
which guy is part of the conspiracy?
I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald. They're saying Oswald didn't kill Kennedy. That's the conspiracy.
So this is Lee?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like the head director
Jesus
of the
Christ,
department.
I don't know how I didn't read that last night.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, that's good, because I was like, you're going to have to guide me through this a little bit, because...
No, I read it. I read it before, but I, for some reason, just did not read. His name was Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
On the second read.
Yeah. So
I just read Welcome to the Department of Truth, not his actual name.
Yeah. And why? Oh, what brings that guy there? He's like...
He went to a Flat Earth Society meeting.
That's what it was, which is also a supposed conspiracy. Right. And then they're like, do you want to see the edge of the earth? And they take him there. I want to know who the bitch with the
X's.
glasses.
The woman in the red dress.
Yeah.
With the crosses for eyes. So I have theories.
I was going to say, isn't the woman in the red dress, isn't that like a very big
it's
conspiracy thing?
I couldn't find an actual thing on her.
Oh, fuck,
but
man.
What I kept finding whenever I looked up anything relating to conspiracy theories was a whole bunch of shit about QAnon.
Oh, well, I mean, that's cool, but, like, I'm not really there yet. I'm sure I'll get there.
Well, no, that's one of the questions I have about this at some point when we get to it. But no, like, the lady in red is a ghost. Like, specifically.
That's what it is.
But the lady in red also appeared in The Matrix as a distraction kind of thing. But usually, like, in the Ghost, you don't remember that? The first Matrix?
The first one?
Yeah, when Morpheus takes him in to the Matrix for training stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's
He's
right.
like, have you been paying attention to me, or were you staring at the woman in the red dress? Look again. And then it's an agent with a gun cocked to his face.
I forgot about that. I just knew the lady in red was like... I'm like, that is something. So, can I say this? Just as, like... You were going to say, yeah. I'm sorry. That I always ask, can I say this? And
well, no.
people are going to let me say it, right?
Well, you just don't let anybody interject to oppose you. I mean, if you want to go on your little tangent and we can skip talking about the lady in red, that's cool.
No, we should... Well, I just think it needs to be said as, like, an overall first issue thing. Like, I've been reading a lot of first issues lately because I've been, like, turning away from different mainstream stuff and going more indie. This was a fucking big hook in the lip, man. Like, I am in 100%.
Oh, wow.
Like, I got to the end and I'm like, give me the next one. Why is it not here yet?
When's it come out?
I don't know.
Because this, next month, this came out.
For this month?
This came out in October, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was the beginning of October.
No, it's probably whatever the month was before this, September. I think it came out in September.
Well, if it did, it was the very end.
Okay, so either end of September or beginning of October. But then, like, the people without having eyes, that's kind of a... I didn't see any conspiracy things on that. But, you know, eyes are like the windows to the soul or whatever.
Right, but
out of
if
Dresden.
She's a ghost.
But she might not be a ghost. We can get there. But, like, the X's, like, on the cover, they got JFK with the X's over him.
Right.
So, the theory with the lady in red is that she's a jilted lover or a prostitute. Killed in a fit of passion.
Right. Okay.
So then you have to go through...
I know more about this than I thought I did.
So then you gotta go... So then
okay.
you have to go through history and think about, like, what women have been killed in that fashion that would also fit into, like, conspiracy theory stuff.
Well, I mean, my mind goes to Marilyn Monroe.
Which is who I thought, too. Okay. But then you could also...
she was a prostitute, but... She definitely was a jilted lover and quote-unquote labeled a whore in the media.
Yeah. Yeah, prostitute's just pretty much a slur. But she has black hair. I don't know. Or that's how it appears.
I mean, they can dye their hair.
But then also on the conspiracy or like on the JFK thing, there's the babushka lady who is apparently holding a camera and recording the stuff, and it's like you wear like a certain headdress maybe, kind of like she's wearing in this. So there's a possibility that that's her. Or the eyes are just redacted, because that would give away too much. But there are like a ton of lady in reds that Wikipedia recommends you to looking up. Babohan Sith, Bloody Mary, Cleodon, Huldara, Lena Deshide, which I thought was interesting. They bring up shadow people. But the Bloody Mary one seemed interesting, especially like the connotation of what Bloody Mary is, because it's about a group of people coming together, looking into a mirror, and chanting and chanting and chanting, and hoping to pull this entity out into our reality. Which is kind of what they're talking about with the whole premise of the tulpa space that they go to. That's actually, like, if you get enough people believing in a concept, it becomes a reality.
Like the flat Earth.
Yeah. Which was a pretty interesting panel. I like that.
But that kind of goes back. That's like a deep seated thing in the idea that a God only exists if it has believers. Right?
Yeah.
Which is an interesting concept that we've come across a lot in our readings across a lot of different things.
Yeah. American Gods.
Right.
Dresden stuff.
Right.
Trying to think of what else. Just mythology as a whole, pretty much.
I mean, it's an interesting concept because, I mean, we've talked about it too, maybe not on here, but just like the idea that, I mean, you've had many different religions over the years, and like that mysterious universe thing where they were talking about the Egyptians and how at one point they were like trying to kill the idea of all the old gods so that the new gods could come in. And I mean, that's, like you said, myth, theology, like all that stuff is, like you said, belief. Not so much that entity necessarily dies, but I love that concept. Like the idea that if enough people believe, then it becomes true or a truth.
Right, but that's what is the distinction in this, because they talk about the flat Earth thing, and like they said it would become truth, but it is not truth. So they're trying to maintain that there is a truth. That's what the Department of Truth is trying to do. So they're trying to, I don't know, what did I say they were trying to do before? They were trying to maintain things as conspiracies.
They were trying to. You said that they were trying to stop conspiracies, I think is the direct quote.
Yes. Well, I guess stop conspiracies from becoming actualities.
Right. Why do you think they picked Lee Harvey Oswald as the head of the department?
Oh, because he's a patsy. Like, they kind of talk about it in the beginning.
Okay, but like that is a conspiracy theory. Right?
Right, but according to what they're going with in the beginning, to do like a deep dive in that would require, like, after reading it today, I was like, oh fuck, I needed like that entire time that we hadn't talked to actually be like actually formulating everything, because there's that last podcast on the left, they like do a whole deep dive on Lee Harvey Oswald, where he was like going to Cuba and trying to start revolutions or like South America. I don't remember where he was going, but he was kind of a crazy person. But
South America's got a lot of fucked up shit going on down there. A lot of Nazis down there too.
Yeah. After World War II, that's where they went. Hitler apparently still lives there.
I don't know. Oh man, I like have so much I want to say about that, but that's not related to this, so I'm not gonna go there.
It might be at some point, so you could just save it instead of blowing it all right here.
Yeah.
I forgot to do like a disclaimer before this, that there might be like trigger warnings, and FBI's, NSA, Five Eyes, all you guys, we don't believe all this. We're not part of anything. Please keep us off your lists.
Yeah, don't look at my Google. Don't look at that.
Well, they already are. I'm trying to give us a scapegoat or whatever, and you're just like, oh, you're just doubling down on it. Like,
Well, no, because I mean, if you look at my Google, I'm fucked, man. I spent 2 hours this morning looking at Operation Paperclip shit. Operation Paperclip, and then I finished the chapter because I stopped at this one point, and then I finished the chapter, and then I'm like, all right, gotta go back to the Google machine. All right, I need to read this like 10 more times now instead of the 2 times that I read it because now, yeah.
okay.
I really want to know why they picked him though. Like that's an interesting thing. Like they're trying to stop the enough believers to believe it was true, but yet that's exactly what happened with him supposedly if you buy into the conspiracy. Right?
Well, there's like multiple levels for the JFK thing. Some people think that the reason they picked him to be the fall guy was because it was an inside government job, and they don't want like.
Hold on, you mean Oswald?
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you meant JFK was the fall guy, like he was the one to be taken out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, that the U.S. government or the shadow government killed him, and they needed a fall guy because it was the first time. It was the last time an assassination of that magnitude happened, and there's a theory that it could no longer happen ever again because everyone has cameras, and everything is instantaneous, so you can't, muddle it or steer the narrative the way you want it to be.
But there were assassination attempts since the JFK one that.
But not done by our government.
Oh, so the rest
And not
of
on
the time
and not on
with it?
and not on US
If I was the shadow government, I'd be like, Nixon, you gotta go. But I suppose he went a different way, so maybe they were happy with that. Maybe they orchestrated that. That goes to like the whole Men in Black thing too.
Yeah, depending on which
Men in Black,
version of
secret
it.
government, shadow government.
But according to this,
wiretaps on this line right here.
Yeah,
on the YouTube.
We got our phones recording everything.
Yeah,
saying.
and they fucking do.
So, if we don't make it out of here, folks, it's been a blast.
I'm just gonna say this, and you can do with it as you please. You should take all your Amazon Echoes and Google fucking helpers and all those fucking dots and periods and whatever else fuck you got in your houses and throw them on your lawn and fucking burn them. Because those things are fucking monitoring you.
That's just a conspiracy theory. It's not true.
Oh, okay. Well, that's funny because they're really, really, really good at fucking suggesting things I should buy after I fucking do things.
Yeah. No, I've been very opposed to them for a very long time.
The crazy thing is, I don't know how much this ties into the conspiracy theory, but like, data has now become like a major commodity, right? Like, everybody wants data because data rules the world. There are data governance departments in companies trying to figure out, look at the data to get more sales. And people have been like, oh, you want data? I'll sell you some data. I got some data. I'm sure these companies are working like behind the scenes like, yeah, we have our customer lists and what they like to buy and what they like to listen to or what they like to do in their homes. And I'll sell you some of that if you want, you give me some money. Everything can be bought, right? For a price.
Not even that much either. Especially when we just willingly give it away.
Well, data, yeah. But I'm just saying in the world, like if you want something, you can buy it for a price. Like there's someone willing to do it, no matter how fucked up it is. I mean, our lovely world has proved that is truly a fact, which is scary. How fucked up do you think this book's going to get? Do you think he's going to do like a real deep dive, or do you think we're going to just skim the surface? Like, what's your vibe? Oh, that page turn was baller. You people can't see it, but that one page turn, there's a baller page turn in this. And the fact that there's no fucking ads in this, so much better. Sorry. We've ranted on that. I digress.
I don't think it's gonna get too super deep. Unfortunately.
I want it to so bad. I think if we sat down with a beer with Tynion, had a beer with Tynion, it'd be pretty. We'd go some places.
Yeah. I'd probably be more interested in Something's Killing the Children at the moment.
This book surprised me. I really had low expectations. Maybe that's
Seriously?
why I liked it so much.
Wait,
yeah.
why'd you have low expectations? It's all the things you like.
Because it's all the things that I like, and
by
I was
a guy
it's gonna suck.
By a writer you
he's
really
gonna
look.
fuck it up, and it's gonna suck. Like, to go through the whole book, and then at the end to drop the "I'm Lee Harvey Oswald, welcome to the Department of Truth" is fucking badass. They quote unquote go to the edge of the earth, which is pretty fucking cool. The flat Earth thing doesn't really interest me too much, but
it's on the list. It seems like it's gonna be a bashing on fascists, pretty much, the alt-right.
man, see, that's the thing. Like, if it goes political, I don't know if I can.
It's super political. It like straight up starts political.
Yeah.
But you're a teacher. You teach about funny pictures on the internet. I look into sorts of discussions that happen among right-wing white nationalists in their online communities. Funny pictures. They share funny pictures. Blah, blah, blah. They're very, very racist. Which, yeah, I get. The people who do go into that are super, super racist. But they're just kind of blanketing all of them together. I don't know. They're gonna be.
What do you mean, people who go into that? The alt right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I was gonna say conspiracy theories. I mean,
well,
I'm
no,
not
a lot of
racist.
if you believe in conspiracy theories, you're very close to being on the alt right. Like anyone who goes against the basic narrative that's going on and question it has, on multiple occasions, been labeled as alt-right. People who are like speaking out against certain things that they disagree with that are going on in the world, if they don't toe the line, they're considered alt-right or far-right. And
see
it's a
that?
slippery-
Whoa! Like, I don't get that at all. I thought alt right and all that shit was like political affiliation. Wow, I'm dumb, I guess.
No, like,
Because I think alt-right, I think like the Nazis, the fascists, all that stuff. But like myself, like, I don't know, I like conspiracy theories. They're interesting.
yeah, but like you saw the whatever that pyramid, that reverse pyramid or whatever thing, like the top is like what everything leads to. So like technically that shit could be like inverted.
Okay.
Like that, those are the basic foundations of everything.
I better watch myself.
Well, that's what I've been saying. You got to be careful about like how far you go into the rabbit hole, because apparently all conspiracies lead to being anti-Semitic.
Man, Bigfoot got me in a lot of trouble, man.
Yeah, he does. He does. That
I'm
from
still
time to
gonna
time.
go deep. I'm going in. Yeah. I'm just gonna mingle with the aliens and stuff, though. That stuff interests me.
That still gets into
Nazi aliens.
no, there's theories that that all the different races come from different deity or like different species, and like depending on how you go with it, like Jews worship like a different god than the chosen people, so they come from like a different alien species, and they're either the people who are destined to take over the earth and inherit it, or they were people who got kicked off of their home planet and came to Earth. And there's been lots of wars that are going on, have gone on.
Okay.
Because of it. Depending on like how you
I'm not there yet.
Depending on how you want to go down with all like the theories of stuff that go on.
I'm not there yet.
And depending on how you want to look at mythology, like how it interweaves to
Oh my god,
get to
dude,
like
you're
a certain.
destroying everything I like. Now I'm just gonna not do anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's about finding the truth, if there is a truth to read, or to discover.
Right. But why do I gotta be labeled a Nazi? Or a racist?
You'd have to take that up with other people.
They ruin everything. That's just
Yeah.
like, you hate comics, you're a comic skater.
Exactly. That's
Like,
what I'm
that's
talking
bullshit.
About. If you start discussing the story as how it's supposed to be, like, or like you raise valid questions and concerns about the way things are going, and you get labeled, because that's the easiest way to remove any points in debate.
Okay, well, I'm glad I just talked to you.
Yeah.
I can say what I want to say, and you'll be like, yeah, you're a little crazy, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, you're not down you haven't fallen into the dangerous stuff.
No.
You've got a good enough head that you won't do it.
Yeah.
But like they even like explained somewhere in here about like why people have a tendency to fall into these traps or whatever, or why people believe in conspiracy theories. I don't know if you.
I remember that. I just don't.
Yeah, it's Oswald is talking to him about why do you think they believe, and he's like, it's always about control. That's what I think. It's a desire to reject the aspects of life that feel too complicated and too abstract and build a more comfortable reality that they can understand. And more than that, it's a sense that if they're right and they're onto the truth that's been kept secret all this time, well, then they're heroes, aren't they? Standing up against the authorities that try to keep them and their friends and family down. They want it to really make sense in a way that makes them important and special.
That's funny you say that. Like, I was listening to that Wild Things podcast, and like, she's just like, yeah, all these people want to find Bigfoot because then they would be heroes.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of relate to the things that are too complicated to understand, so they revert to something that they can control and understand. Yeah, I get that. I do that a lot. Like, I'm just like, oh, the outside world, I'm going to be on my own property doing my own shit. That's so that kind of brings up a lot of thoughts in my head as far as like as a human being, like you seek understanding and stuff, right? And you have to have understandings to navigate life, I guess would be the way I should say it. Like, you got to figure stuff out. But like that idea of that discomfort, it's almost like a coping mechanism, right? But is that wrong?
No, there has to be structure. That's why we have values and morals, and we get taught how societies and cultures work.
Right. So,
like, you have to have a self-identity. You have to have a group identity.
So they're saying, like, this department, they're trying to stop, not necessarily that, but like enough believers to make something true, but not truth, right? Like,
Well, in this specific instance, they're trying to stop the flat earthers from creating the world as being the flat earth. Because if enough people believe that, then that means that all the governments in the world, all the airlines, all the cartographers, all the people who the people who whatever the mathematical theory was, the guy who like dictated that the earth was round, all of those people have been lying, and they would have all been into it together, and people's worldview of reality would shatter and they would revolt. So that's what they're trying to prevent with this specific instance, and maybe that pans out to what the Department of Truth is actually trying to do by keeping these conspiracies as conspiracies.
like a pandemonium.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But the thing
Not
is,
the book I wanted.
but we also don't know. We also don't know if they're good,
Right.
which would be an interesting twist. Like maybe the Department of Truth isn't as virtuous as they're pretending to be at the beginning.
I honestly feel like that's the way it's going to go, and it's going to be the obvious way to go. Right? I don't know. But, like, okay, so, like, people create, like, you were talking about, like, the creating the happiness, the comfort, right? It's an interesting idea that it's a fine line between, like, a comfort thing and, like, mass anarchy, right? Because, like, they're stating, like, these people, this is why they do it, right? And you get enough people doing that, and then it creates this mass hysteria. But at the same time, like, why are those people doing that? Like, what?
Mass hysteria?
No. Why are they looking for that comfort? Like, what are they protecting themselves from? And if there's that many people doing it and buying into it, right? And they all have that common thread of, like, trying to find comfort in something that they don't understand and can't control, so they go to this because they think, right? Isn't there something that's, like, driving them towards that?
I'm not following, I guess.
Okay, what page was that quote on? I want to go back to that quote. I'm sorry.
There are no page numbers.
Oh, fuck.
It's maybe like a quarter of the way through. It's after the polo shirt things.
Okay. Okay, so it's the desire to reject the aspects of life that feel too complicated and too abstract and build a more comfortable reality that they can understand, right? So this department is there to try and prevent enough people from believing to make it true, but not truth, right? And they're saying that if enough people believe it's true and you have this mass distrust in the government or these ruling bodies, that they would revolt, and it's basically anarchy, right? Okay, so I got that right. Okay, but what's happening in the world that is driving that many people to that? Right? Because
to believing the world is flat.
well, or whatever the conspiracy theory is. Like, let's just go real broad strokes. Like, I understand in the idea of the comic, but I think it's an interesting idea. 'Cause if I don't think that's too out of the realm of possibility. Like, if enough people really believe that there were men in black and or this shadow government, it would, and maybe we're getting to that tipping point, and that's why the world is fucking going crazy. If you have enough people believing in these conspiracies, and I actually think it's maybe kind of going on. Like, there's a lot of people that believe that this coronavirus is not an actual threat, and governments working in orchestration to try to control its people or control people, right? So, but like, in that aspect, like, why is that happening? Like, you just don't all of a sudden get distrust, right? Like, this has been years and years and years of something that obviously has driven enough people to go past that tipping point and create that mass hysteria.
So what's called
right?
what's happening in the real world?
Well, yeah, like, what's causing so many people to reject the aspects of life that feel too complicated? Right? There's gotta be, like, something that's causing them to do that. And in some cases, I would think You know, maybe it's an internal struggle at home or an internal struggle with where am I in life. But, like, to drive, like, a mass majority, like, that, there's got to be something. Like, there's not going to be a bunch of, like, this is going to sound real broad stroke and dumb, but, like, a bunch of sad guys that all, or gals, that are all of a sudden just like,
We're all inclusive
fuck
here.
this, man! Like, man, flat earth! Like, that's not going to happen. There's going to have to be something that, like, pushes that many people over. Or this Department of Truth is really fucking good at their jobs.
Well, cults have always existed.
Right.
Fringe ideas and movements have always existed. What hadn't existed was a means in which to instantly communicate these ideas to everyone on Earth at any second of any day.
Okay. So that is extremely interesting. Because I don't know when this is set.
Present.
Okay.
Well, it has to be because Oswald looks like he's in his
Okay. Fair point.
70s.
Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. I didn't think about that. But, like, okay, is that the tipping point then?
The internet?
Could be.
I don't know if it's a tipping point. I think it's been... there's always been distrust in the government.
Right.
That's why there were tons of revolutions throughout history and overthrowing of governments.
Right.
It's a dissatisfaction with
look,
the...
Okay, so the French Revolution is a pretty prime example, right? There was something, like, I don't even know if it was a conspiracy. It was a conspiracy.
Yeah, everything starts as a conspiracy.
Right? Wasn't there somebody, like, within... Well, okay, so this was... Yeah. I don't know. I might be going off on a different conspiracy theory. Let me back that up. Either way, like, the people revolted and fucking took down the monarchy, whatever the fuck they call them, the kings and queens, because...
It's a monarchy.
They got sick of fucking living in squalor. Right? So that's something that all of a sudden caused enough distrust in an institution that, quote unquote, was lying to them, right? In a way, right? They were lying to them. And they revolted, and then that happens. Like, you're right. It's happened throughout history.
Yeah. So it's just a dissatisfaction with existence.
Right.
An inability to make ends meet.
Right. But is it wrong?
Depends on who you're asking. Which
really makes this whole Department of Truth thing interesting. The fact that they're in this world, in this fictional world, is a department whose job it is to get ahead of this stuff so that they can keep control. Which then goes into a really interesting point of, are they good or are they bad?
Yeah.
Which is a very...
I didn't actually think of that until, like, we just started talking about it.
Well, either way, I mean, it's a tricky moral dilemma, right?
Yeah, because technically by the conspiracy of the flat earth being true, that might have caused a better standard of living for people. Potentially.
How so?
Because that's the point of any revolution, is always to overthrow the old system and create a new one. So if you had everybody, like, that's why all the riots happen.
But, flip side of the coin, is it right? Like, now, okay, so you're throwing in the specific example of the flat earth, that's interesting. Okay, so let's go back to the specific example of flat earth. Now you're questioning, like, all of science, which is a pretty big institution.
Right, but science isn't necessarily truth, because science it's always a theory,
right.
And if it's been proved enough, it becomes a scientific theory. But it's always open for reevaluation if better standards of testing said theory show up.
But there's facts, right? Or no? Now we're getting philosophical.
a scientific fact. Well, yeah, because then there's always that big T and lowercase t for
Right.
truths.
Right.
Because like, is the world dictated by mathematics, or is mathematics just the language we use to explain it, and it by virtue of using it to explain it that way?
I can't do that. I fucking really got into an argument with a philosophy teacher about that, and at the end I'm like, fuck this, I'm out. I can't do math. Like, I can do math, don't get me wrong, but like that is exactly like I thought that way, and he's like, no, it's a fact, and I'm like, but is it? Is it? We just ascribe these symbols to it, and that's what it is. Like, I don't understand that. Maybe that's me bucking the system. I don't know, but anyway, sorry. That's a sore subject.
That's fine.
You're bringing back flashbacks, PTSD over here. Fuck that guy. Fuck. All right. Anyway. No, I like this book even more now. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I very much was high level, like, oh, we get to do conspiracy theories. Like, this is gonna be cool. Like, really looking into that and like the ramifications of a conspiracy theory, and also like our conversation about people going down the rabbit hole into the alt-right, like the ramifications of, I don't want to say alt-right, going like fascist, Nazi, fucking racist, like going down these fucking crazy holes, right? What are the ramifications of that? And you see it like cults are a good example. Like, you know, you got John Jones?
Jonestown.
Jonestown? Okay. There we go. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, you see like a direct ramification to those people, but what is the like bigger effect of those conspiracy theories? Which hopefully they delve into that in this book.
Yeah. Issue 2 will kind of be the tell of how deep they're gonna go. Like, I was I was disappointed. The only questions that you really have at the end, like, he blatantly says, like, "Oh, so the questions that we want answered in this story are, who is the woman in red with no eyes? And why do they think they work for something called the Black Hat?"
Yeah, that's why I was thinking Men in Black, too. But I also want to know why the fuck Lee Harvey Oswald is the head of the thing.
So that's the second question. No.
Isn't that the third? You had 2 questions. I said the third question. Why the fuck is Lee Harvey Oswald?
Third. So the woman in red, Black Hat, and why Lee Harvey Oswald. And how is this actually, like, created?
Isn't Oswald dead?
Yeah, he got shot when they were trying to take him out.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing.
But maybe he didn't die. Maybe that was part of it.
Right. Well,
but
I mean, the government covers up lots of shit.
Yeah, but like in the context of the story, he knew shit before this happened.
Oswald did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, according to this story,
yes.
Like, he was privy to like what the actual truth was, and he knew that because people started believing this, he was losing his grasp on the truth. But he knows something, because up is down and down is up.
Right.
Which is the truth. Which is weird.
I was thinking airplanes, but
up is down. Down is up. Might have to look into that.
I feel like that's come up somewhere that I read too. I think in that Secret Machines book.
Unless they're going with the, like, as above, so below kind of concept.
When I read it, I was like, things aren't always as they seem. It's kind of what after the first read. Second read, I didn't pay as much attention to that part.
Well, I just came back to that. That's what's good about having it in front of you. You can just flip through.
Right. No, I'm still pretty pumped about this book. I really liked it. I'm like also getting more into like that aspect of things too. I don't know. Like for a while there I was all on Bigfoot. Now I've moved to the aliens and the government.
You stepped up a rung.
Maybe.
Uh-oh.
I don't know, man. Like I never spent a lot of time on the internet, but like a book, I'll read a book. You know.
No.
I say that, and I spent 2 hours this morning on a fucking deep dive into Paperclip.
It's really easy to do.
Yeah, it is.
At least you haven't fallen down like a YouTube hole.
Oh, I do, but it's dumb shit. It's like race cars or what's the other thing I usually get caught on YouTube? Yeah, usually cars. I go down like a deep dive on that. So, or music. That's, you know.
Yeah, the last one I went on was the squirrels, Ninja Squirrel.
That's pretty cool. Like Kai and I have really been fascinated with squirrels lately, so I've been sitting outside just watching them like eat the nuts. Like we got all them nuts from the black walnut tree, and just to watch those fuckers like they go around to each of the nuts and they like test them. Right? They pick them up and they start like chewing a little bit, and then they're like, nope, and they throw that one down, and then they'll go to a different one, and they'll like, man, throw that one down, go to the next one, and all of a sudden they find like the nut, right? And then they just like there's shit flying everywhere, and then they get to the center part, and I don't know what I thought they had to crack them open, and I couldn't tell you what they do with them because then they run away. Like they get the prize and then they run, and I don't know what they do with it after that.
Save it for later.
Probably.
Or you know what? They've heard about you.
There is one fat motherfucker out there though, man. I fucking opened my back door the one day, and he's just fucking sitting there, fat ass, with a nut in his mouth, like chomping on his nut, like right on the railing, like on that post right by the door there. Fuck, man. I tried to get a picture of him, but he ran away.
No, they just heard about you and your fascination with watching people eat, and they are equally creeped out by it.
It's funny you say that. We were watching the chef show on Netflix, and they're like, why do you think people like watching people eat? And they're like, oh yeah, there's this and this and this, and I looked at Steph. I'm like, I like watching people eat, and she's like, yeah, we know, Jeremy, we know.
It's a sexual fetish.
Nah.
For some people.
For me, no. I like food. I like to cook. I'm not good, but I like to cook. I like when other people cook for me. I like eating food. I like the camaraderie that comes with food. I like the get-togethers that come. Like, that food brings people together, man. And I like that. For someone as antisocial as he is, like, you know, I like to make food and share it with people, you know? Family, friends. Like, I do that at work. Like, all of a sudden I'll be like, I'm going to make cupcakes. And I make cupcakes for everybody at work. Although we're not allowed to do that anymore because of COVID. So, that fucking blows. Or salsa. I used to make salsa all the time. We'd compete to see who had the best salsa. Mine always sucked, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Like, it was fun. It was a thing that I did, right? Like, again, there's like... Also, cooking is ritualistic. So, for me, in my slightly OCD way, is like, I like that stuff. Yeah, we kind of got on an off tangent.
You should become an alchemist. Or you know what you should do? You should brew some fucking beer.
I'm sure Steph's fucking kind of getting on that train. She's like going all fucking witchy and shit.
It's Halloween.
No, she's like doing a deep dive into like all this different
Wiccan stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. She's got some books. It's got spells in it. We made bread. We're growing herbs. She saged the house.
I don't know what making bread has to do with like witchcraft.
Well, it's Mabon right now, whatever the fuck that is. That means nothing to me. I apologize to all the people out there who might be Wiccans. I don't mean to
Disparage against your
No,
religion.
I enjoy it. She makes food that revolves around this holiday, and I'm like, I'll eat it. She made apple butter, which I was not a fan of. But I
What,
gave
you
it.
don't like apple butter?
No, do you?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry I didn't give you any. I had a jar. I gave it to the guy at work.
I didn't know I liked it until I was at a hotel and they had it, and I threw that on my English muffin.
Yeah.
It's better than jam.
Well, talk to Steph. I'm sure she'll make you some apple butter. I had to peel all those fuckers, but we did it. Anyway, yeah, there's like, she's got a whole book upstairs. There's spells in there and like different shit. There's like different holiday, like, I don't know if they're holidays or cycles. She made moon water. I had to help with that. I had to put a fucking jar of water.
That's what she was talking about that one day. She wanted to collect water.
She was collecting rainwater, and I didn't really get it. And then one night she's like, "Hey, can you put my jar of water on the counter on the deck at 6?" Like, it was a very exact time, and I'm like, "Sure." Why? Well, it's a full moon tonight. I'm like, I've never put a jar of water on the deck for a full moon before. Well, I'm making moon water, and I'm like, okay. So then I looked that up. That's a whole fucking thing. And there's 2 full moons this month. A blue moon. Once in a blue moon is 2 full moons in 1 month or something like that.
Did you see that on a Facebook post?
No, it was a fact they gave me at school. Not school.
At school? You're going to school again?
At work. Is that not true?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
When
I thought I had done research and it debunked it.
Oh, they were saying once in a blue moon is when a moon occurs within, I don't know.
Yeah, but like it wasn't actually gonna be. I don't know. I saw a post about it, and I was under the impression that it wasn't happening. But I could be off base.
Okay, well, I don't really care. I just was throwing that out there. Anyway, random fact of the night.
Right, but then, the other possibility, now that we're talking about the moons, is that this lady in red could be the Whore of Babylon from the Bible, from Revelations. And if it is, it like gets into some crazier stuff, because there was a goddess from Mesopotamia called like Ishtar, but like the before Ishtar, Astarate. And one of the biggest things in like the religions with that when people start talking about the patriarchy or whatever, modern religions have just like destroyed the feminine, and the whole struggle with religion and mythology in our current times is that we are denying that aspect of our humanity. Like all the old religions viewed women as being like very important. Like
right.
When we were with the Justice League Dark thing with the Hecate,
right?
Like the moon,
the Greeks,
cycle,
like all that stuff. Yeah.
So like they're trying to come back, and
whoa,
yeah, like this is from like that one Tom the Tom Robinson book I'm reading, like Skinny Legs and All. They go into this deep dive about like Jezebel and Ashtoreth. I'm gonna say her name wrong the entire time, and like how there's been this big struggle in Jerusalem over like which god should be worshipped in the temple on the rock. That's what the Revelation is about.
They like, instead of whitewashing it, they man-washed it.
Right. They man-washed history.
That's fucking interesting as... Well, no, just religion, man. Holy shit. Like, that is a fucking really interesting concept that it was like right in front of my face the entire time. Like, what changed that all of a sudden it was about man and not woman? Like, there's
Theory.
not that many women mentioned in the Bible.
No. But there's a possibility that that got changed in more recent times too. Like,
And that maybe those are the books that are being withheld from by the church, if you
right.
believe in that
Yeah,
conspiracy.
whenever the New King James version or with the Catholic Church, because there's a whole conspiracy theory that the Catholic Church is actually like the number one like satanic pillar
Well, they're
in the
supposedly
world.
sitting on a lot of books that aren't released right now.
Yeah, because they created the canon. Like according
Right.
to how some of those books were like first written, they fall out of order. Like when you go to the Old Testament stuff, like
Yep.
they don't fall in line.
Right. I always thought that was odd.
Yeah, like if you go like the documentation, and there's been other books written. Like one of the most interesting books are the books of Enoch, which like in the Bible there are only two people who don't die, who like just get to go to heaven. It's Enoch and Moses.
Okay.
But like so like you get the entire story of Moses and what he did. Like you probably even know the story of Moses and you're not religious. But the only other motherfucker who just never died, who just went to heaven in his mortal body, he gets a sentence. Like Enoch was a good man, so he didn't die. That's it. That's it. Like, what the fuck did this guy do? I mean, you've got books and books and books about all these people who do crazy ass things
Well, and a
with
lot
their
of
belief,
tales about Moses.
with their beliefs in Yahweh and like the power of blah blah blah, and then like the one guy who, but all those people died too. Some of them like really bad deaths. But this guy like did something so cool, and you just like don't talk about him. Why the fuck not? What is his story about? His story is about the Nephilim and the Watchers, which could be the precursors to all the old gods in mythology. They're the ones who helped humans evolve to the point of where we are. They're the people who taught us agriculture, domesticating animals, architecture, art, writing, mathematics, medicine,
The old gods.
war. All those stories.
So, like the old gods, you mean like the Greeks,
Yeah.
the Incans, the Aztecs, like all the the Egyptians, all that old shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking wow.
Well, not the Nephilim, the Anunnaki. The Nephilim are the demigods.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah.
The
No, and that makes sense too. Like just like I'm going through my head, and you're like naming all this shit they taught us, and I'm like, okay, like I can think of some Greek gods. Or some, I'm not as familiar with like the old Aztecs and the Incans and all that shit, but and the Egyptians gods, like I've been learning more about that. That's fucking interesting as hell. Fuck man, you've gone down more holes than me. I gotta fucking catch up on my reading.
no, I actually have to like I'm like super rusty on a lot of it. I gotta get repolished now that like you're in it.
Well, I don't know. I've always liked Greek mythology, man. Like you were like asking me, and I'm just like, I feel rusty.
Yeah, you should play Hades or like I can let you nah, cuz you kind of have to go through the story
How much does
to
it
watch
cost?
it. I think it's like $30,
Uh,
25.
I'll think about it. When I'm sitting here at night, need a video game, I will. I'm sorry, man. Like I've been reading all this
no,
stuff.
it's fine. It's like it might be a winter game and it might not actually be your cup of tea cuz like
The grinding thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not you've it's yeah, it's
Is it
super
like Prinny?
I don't know, I never played Prinny.
Oh, I don't know. It's just super hard, and you just grind through it.
Mm, yeah, I guess it's like that cuz
Is it a side scroller?
no, it's top down third
Okay.
top down, yeah, asymmetric
Yeah.
like StarCraft. but like it's randomly generated. Like you pretty much go and you fight guys and you try to collect like stuff called darkness. And darkness lets you power up like your character. So like then you get better stats. But when you die, you don't lose the darkness. So you pretty much just like snowball your way through it. Like after you get enough, there's other currencies
Oh,
like there's
so like you always start at the same point, but as you
yeah,
progress.
you always end up in Hades and you start in Tartarus, and then you go to the next place.
But
Starts with an
basically, you're like
S.
almost leveling up and then just going back through the other
Yeah,
levels.
and the bosses are always the same. Like after you get through 12 floors, you fight a boss, and when you get through 23 floors, you fight a boss, and then
Right.
when you get to yeah, but like and you have 6 different weapons and you can upgrade those weapons, but you have to kill the bosses to get the item. And then when you die, you go back and then you can power up so you're better for the next level, and you keep doing this and doing this and doing this until you get to Hades, and then you die to him a bunch of times and you got to start all over, but you got all this currency that you spend, and then you go and you beat him and you're like, yes, and then you die anyways, spoiler. And then you find out that there's like secrets being held and there's like a war going on, and that's the reason the Olympians are helping you, kind of, and you're using them. And there's some other shit going on. I don't know. It's interesting.
Dude, that was when you were asking me about that too. Like, I started like going deeper into like, because you were asking like about the Olympians, who were the original Olympians and all this stuff. I started reading about all that, and I was gonna make a point and I totally forgot. But yeah, I love that shit, man.
Yeah.
I
And
love mythology, and I probably would love theology too. I don't know. Maybe that's one of those things of me rejecting something because it makes me feel uncomfortable.
you can be an agnostic atheist theologian.
I don't know. To me, like, that stuff's cool because maybe modern theology, there's not enough explanation where it doesn't make sense. Whereas, like, your Greek stuff, because I'm most familiar with that, but even like the Norse stuff I'm familiar with, like, they tell these stories and it lays out something like very concrete, right? Like, I'm trying to think of a good example right now and I'm like drawing a fucking blank. But like, not that there's not lessons in the Bible, but like, there's a difference between lessons and being a good human and learning how things came to be. Like, if that makes sense. Like, you have these gods and God, like you went through it, like gods that taught us agriculture and war and like.
They have a much different like mythology has a much clearer genesis, essentially.
Yeah.
Like
Yes. Okay.
The
okay.
prior to humans' existence.
Right. It's that's a great example. Or just like tales of caution and tales of triumph. I mean, the Odyssey is a great hero's tale, but also like you learn about all these different like the temptations in life and like the road to death and overcoming different challenges. Like, I don't know, there seems to be more. It's just more interesting. It's more interesting. It explains more.
There is a possibility that there are better recantings of these tales in like the Torah or like in like the original language, like Israeli, or in like whatever Islam is, like, because they're kind of the same
Right.
up
I
to a
mean,
degree. So there could be like the same epic poems that just aren't translated the
right.
same.
I get that, but like all those stories and like it's all about pleasing God and being a good person, and I feel like the mythology, like the Greek stuff that I know of, is like not that they don't teach you things, but they're like stories about things outside of just being a good person. I don't know how to say it. Like, I need to brush up, man.
No, the same stories are in like the Bible. They're just not as epic. Like you have to have like individual interpretations of it. Like just like the Iliad is like an interpretation of all the things that are going on in that point in time. But the difference is with those is that there is a component of fiction woven into them.
Right.
Where the current theology is literal fact, is a historical documentation of things that happened according to the like the people who adhere to it.
Right.
Like there's a sense of.
But do you think that the Greeks didn't believe that their stuff was fact?
Well, no, that's the thing, because they obviously did. If to like go through the work of erecting half of the temples that they did that are still standing with hypothetically
Right.
less advanced technology and understanding of that we have now.
I mean, look
but
at
those
the Egyptians.
but those things are still standing, like especially in a time where it was more difficult to do agriculture and farming, because they didn't have quotation marks like technologies that we have, and their lifespan was drastically shorter, is the story.
But like,
You know how like that was the Gobekli Tepe thing. Like this was a temple created by nomads. So that means like they were hunter gatherers, but for some reason they all stopped and they created this lasting monument towards an invisible thing that didn't exist. According to like modern like religion, like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, like those were false gods. But like the thing with false gods doesn't necessarily mean that these things didn't exist.
which goes back to the Department of Truth.
Right, yeah. So there were like
The lack of understanding caused somebody to create something to try and help them understand or cope with it.
or it was just to honor them.
But who's them? Like you said, these nomads came around. Like, they obviously created that temple towards these invisible beings, whatever.
There were inverted quotation marks.
Right.
Invisible.
Right.
Because I don't think unless people are doing that. Like, do people now make...
That's like worshipping the seasons. And the idea, like, and people have done that for, like, millennia, I don't know, whatever years you want to put on it. Like, because they don't, at that time, they didn't understand it. Right? So they had to...
That's our understanding. That they didn't understand it. Maybe we don't understand it now.
Valid point.
Which is the argument, because we no longer are in touch with the earth.
I am.
Men as a species.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I try to be in touch with the earth.
Yeah, well, one of your biggest characters is Swamp Thing, so obviously.
Well, I mean, I had that revelation that time when I was tripping.
Yeah.
Which wasn't really a revelation looking back on it, but it was a good trip. Just saying. Good times. Anyway, I don't know. I just, like, you haven't read the Norse mythology book, the Neil Gaiman book yet, have you?
Not yet.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I haven't.
Okay. But, like, those stories, like, they were talking about... Fuck. I just remember an eagle
Well,
shitting
yeah.
on somebody, and that's why they had the sweet meat or some sort of something came out of that. Like, there were these stories to explain things that were happening, right? I guess maybe that's what they were doing with the Bible too. I'm not familiar enough. I just know like the basic shit. The shit they teach you in Sunday school, and like you also have to wonder how much of that is like you're going to teach kids this, and this, and then you're going to preach this to the congregation, and it's all available to them, but I don't know about you. I haven't sat down and read the entire Bible. I don't know what's all in there. So, and if I did sit down and read it, I would probably get frustrated because I remember reading some of this shit, and they're like, "Yeah, this is what that means," and I'm like, "Huh?" And like, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty advanced reader for my age, so like, I don't know, maybe I'm
Well,
dumb.
that might be another issue with mythology versus theology, because mythology is just a story that only has one meaning, like after you read it, like A equals B, right? But
Right.
where the Bible is that there are so many variations and interpretations on the same, like the same book that everybody has in front of them. Like
So you get A equals XYZ WVUT.
A equals the entire alphabet,
Right.
but you get to pick and choose which ones based on your
Makes sense why I would reject that.
your fucking relationship with God, or with your relationship with the divine. However, you've been inspired by His word
I mean, that
or
explains why I would
interpreted.
reject that because I want logic. I want A to B. Right.
Well, no, the thing is, like, if you read the entire Bible, you would get your interpretation of it, your understanding of what He was trying to communicate to you. Which might be the same as, like, this. Like, you would probably really like Gnosticism, which is hypothetically what Jesus came from. And those are the books that aren't in the Bible.
Motherfuckers. So I can't get them.
Well, no, because they're other books. Like, you can find the Gnostic teachings.
Oh, okay. How do you spell
Like,
Gnostic?
Gnost. IC. Gnostic.
Got it.
Yeah.
Teachings.
Yeah. Like, that's where you get, like, the demiurge, which is, like, kind of like chaos from Greek mythology. Like,
Nice.
it's like the big evil.
So
That's
look,
where like your Genesis mythology comes from.
yeah, looking at like when you were talking about the Hades thing, and then we were talking about chaos, and then we were talking about how maybe that is the outsider in Dresden.
Mm-hmm.
That, oh man. All right, beer break. I gotta pee. And then we need to come back. We need to start it on Dresden because we're probably like 2 hours in. Oh shit.
And we're back. But quickly on like the whole like why people go into like the conspiracy theory thing, it would be like the inverse of that is to just bury yourself in your own hole to distract from it. And the only reason that you would come out of that hole is because that hole is threatened and you can no longer have it. So your sense of safety is stripped away from you and you want to maintain that.
Yeah. I get that. I also am kind of like. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Everybody's got their hole.
Yeah. And the best hole to be in is the Dresden Files.
Yeah, holy
So,
shit. Alright, we're
so
switching gears.
we still
Big
got
time.
we have peace talks and Battlegrounds to talk about.
Oh fuck, we're doing the
And
double.
and everything else. Well, you just wanted to talk Battlegrounds?
No, we can do doubles.
I don't know if we actually properly talked about
I don't know if I. All right.
anything.
All right.
Well, like we can
All
talk.
right.
So we can talk about peace talks like an after the fact thing, based on Battlegrounds.
No. I'm curious. You lead this conversation. I got lots of things to say. I got some questions. I got insights.
So, I just gotta say, Battlegrounds is the fucking best thing I have read in a very long time. Is maybe the best thing I've read. Potentially. Maybe not like the most impactful, but it was just a non-stop ride from page 1 until page, I don't know, like 400 something. I did not want to put that shit down. And there was no point in which to put it down. Like, things just kept ramping up and ramping up and ramping up and ramping up. It was just non-stop bliss, in my opinion.
I mean, I feel like I have read things like that where I've been on a nonstop ride that I can't put down but in the context of Dresden, this was like how many books? What's Battlegrounds?
It's like 17.
So okay, that's number 17.
I'm guessing, yeah.
You have 16 books of like mystery, wizardry, like battles. This was mixed all together, right? With like ups and downs and lulls and like learning stuff. This basically was fucking one big war book. And that was it. Like, we're going.
No, it was like...
Now, in the context of thinking that this was Peace Talks and Battlegrounds was supposed to be released together, it would have felt more like a regular Dresden book. But like, this seriously was just all out fucking war.
Yeah, it was Changes, the end of Changes, when they went to... Fuck, where did they go? Where they went to Mexico or whatever. Yep. And they like started killing all the vampires. But that was only like 60 pages?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah. This was like 400 pages of war.
Of just fighting.
Battle. Yeah.
And then, how did you feel? Because you read a lot of the Warhammer shit, so like right. There's all that tactics and shit.
Right.
Like, did that hit that note?
The Warhammer stuff is not as tactical as you think, but I definitely like that's what I'm saying. Like
tactical?
I've read books like this. No, like it's not like we're going here and you go there and like the planning tactics. It's writing a good war story, I think is hard. Because a war usually is massive and there's a lot of people. But like a book, you have to have connections with the characters. So you can't say Mob A went here and Mob B went there and we did X, Y, and Z and then this happened and then this happened. Like you really have to connect with the characters. This literally for me felt like I was reading Gaunt's Ghosts. Like I'm just like this is just like them fucking duking it out against the fucking Chaos Space Marines and fucking taking down the head honcho motherfucker. It really I read the last, hopefully not last, but the last book in the Gaunt's Ghost series so far. And, like, they took down the head dude. This felt like that. Like, this... and not only that, but the capturing of, like, the personal battle stuff. Like, I don't know, we probably should put a spoiler alert, but, like...
I was just thinking that.
Like... The thing with Murphy died.
Oh yeah, okay, you got it.
Murphy died.
we didn't do a proper spoiler thing. We're supposed to be like, all right, spoiler warnings if you haven't read this book.
I said spoiler alert.
You said maybe we should put a spoiler in.
You can edit that in. Just put a 30-second gap in. Don't listen. Murphy dying, like, that is very, like, it was well done. It was a well done. It really felt like a war book, which was something that I felt was very different for Dresden. Like I said, it had an entirely different feel than the previous books. I didn't feel like there was any mystery I really had to find out.
But there is.
But he does that thing where he throws all that shit in at the end. And it's like...
It didn't get woven in properly. There was never any, like, real questioning of what's going on, which was kind of the issue. I mean, like, if you were, like... Goodman Gray is tasked by Dresden to make sure that Justine is kept safe. So they harped on that very hardcore right at the beginning. But that needed to come back into it somehow. Like, they essentially in that peace talks, they just put that entire thing on ice, literally, with Thomas. And then they never brought it up again in Battlegrounds.
Right. And that's, like, normally in the other Dresden books, like, Harry's, like, noodling around with stuff, right? And he's poking things and prodding things, and, you know, we get some flags here and some flags there. Like, this was him just on a rampage, essentially. Which...
was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so, like... It made me think about, like, the progression of Dresden, right? And in every story, if the characters don't progress, you know, you may as well read a comic book. Ha ha ha. Anyway.
Deep cut.
Like, him from the beginning to him now, and then I think, like, where's he going, right? So, like... He starts out, you know, he's fighting these low-level dudes, and then he moves up, and he takes a step up, and then he finds out about this, and then you find out about this, and, like, I feel like we've really come to a peak. Now you fought a Titan, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next step, in my mind, is a demigod or a god.
Do you think demigods are higher up than a Titan?
Okay.
Because
a god?
Well, that's one of the potential problems with what happened. Because, like, the scaling, right, it maybe got fucked up because the Titan was a pretty big boss.
Right.
A pretty big boss that wrecked every other, like, super powerful being that we have encountered.
So that's a question you asked. My question was, because I don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you. Like, this was the biggest battle yet. And again, he pulls the Dresden out of his ass and he somehow gets by, right? Against all odds. I don't think he was concussed, though. Did he get hit in the head in this book? Maybe he heard me. Saying that, like, this dude would be dead, all the concussions he's had, right? Although he is a wizard. So.
And he's got the winter mantle, so that insulates him.
Changes things. But, like, so, like, he has this reputation, right? And he's rising and he's rising and he's rising. If he defeats a god, is he a god?
No. Because then there would be countless stories where people have defeated gods and they suddenly become gods, but
he has, like, he's almost like a godlike status at this point.
No, he just becomes a god. He becomes a god slayer.
No, but him coming into McNally's, right? Max, into that bar, and, like, all those people, like, are looking to him. Like, he has this god status.
But they don't worship him. That's kind of a key component to being a god. And also...
that, but I'm just saying, like, a progression as a character, like, I don't know.
No, I think he invokes more fear than he does awe.
Which is also an interesting concept, because throughout this, like, he has these tethers that keep him in check, and he's slowly
losing them one by one.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, he lost 3 in this book. Yeah, or not like in these 2 books. He lost Thomas. Thomas is gone.
Right. I forgot about Thomas.
He lost 4 things. 5 things maybe. He lost his grandfather, Ebenezer. They're pretty much like on the rocks.
I don't know. Ebenezer fucking at the end, he basically, I don't know, filibustered, I guess, and saying that he's not going to go after Harry unless X. So clearly, like, there's still a connection there.
But he can't talk to him anymore.
Right, but there's still a connection. The fact that Ebenezer's like, yeah, I'm not doing that, is saying that there are things he needs to do to keep his status, but I'm not. I can draw a line in the sand here, and I'm not going to come after you. Which I would argue is him still trying to keep things open. The other thing is like, he may not be able to talk to him now, but he could talk to him in the future.
But do you really think he's trying to, like, he straight up killed Dresden? He killed his grandson.
Right.
It doesn't matter that there was trickery involved. Like, he straight up killed him.
In a fit of rage. He made a mistake.
Yeah, but
did he mean it?
In that moment, he did.
Right.
How do you, like, accidentally kill your grandson, though? Like, what do you mean? Like, was it a mistake? Like, how was that an accident?
Well, he created, like, a illusion of himself.
Yeah, so he had a doppelganger.
Right.
So his grandfather killed the doppelganger.
Just killed my grandson with my doppelganger.
Well, but he was pretty distraught when he did it. And immediately was
after
like...
the fact.
What? No shit. You can't be distraught about it before the fact.
Oh, so maybe that by virtue of him, like, realizing that will prevent him from doing it in the future.
But Harry was given the warning that, you know, you cross these lines, he will be forced to, you know.
Yeah, but he might find ways to help him to prevent him from crossing those lines.
Right.
Which he's been trying to do the entire time.
Right.
And Harry's just too bullheaded to adhere to advice.
But I think that's something that they share in common. I mean, Ebenezer's not exactly the, you know, and the fact that you find out later he's a grandfather, huh?
He's not a paragon of level-headedness.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, like, and then to find out he's his grandfather, and it all makes sense. Okay, so he lost Thomas, he lost that quote-unquote Ebenezer.
Okay, so maybe he didn't lose it. It got complicated.
Keep going,
he lost the respect of Ramirez.
I don't consider Ramirez a tether.
How not? Like, that was the younger generation. That was some, like,
right.
his Padawan.
Okay, so here's the 3 I think of.
Oh no, yeah, I'm getting to them.
Okay.
So then, like, he lost his status as a wizard.
Are you just talking this book, or are you talking about the whole series? When you say things he lost.
This book.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking. All right, his status as a wizard.
Well, no, because, like, the things that happened before were
not even his status as a wizard. His status as a wizard his status as White Council member. He's still a wizard.
That gets tricky, because maybe you have to be.
No.
I don't think they get called different.
He says there's other practitioners that aren't big enough.
Practitioners of magic is different than a wizard. Just like there's a distinction between. No, there's a distinction between. They bring it up a bunch. Like, a warlock is still technically a wizard, but a warlock is on the outs with the council.
Okay, so he lost his status as a wizard. I'll give you that.
And Odin's 2 things, they call them a certain word. like a Sodomir.
Yeah.
They have like a specific term for him.
Right.
So you might have to be part of the White Council to be considered a wizard.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got that.
That's semantics, yeah. And then he lost Murphy,
Okay.
which is the biggest thing that was keeping him in check.
Right. Oh, that's
Well,
4. Sorry.
Well, no, I dropped more than that. More than
See,
4.
See, you're. I don't. Okay, so here's my thing. Like, I was thinking, like, tethers to. I don't want to say reality, but, like, maybe humanity? Like, there are things that he held near and dear to his heart that he's lost through the entire series, right? So, like, when he starts out, it's Murphy, right? That's something that's consistent throughout and is an interest of his. And you could even argue at one point, I can't remember her fucking name. Fuck.
Susan?
Thank you. Susan, right? So you had Susan and Murphy. Susan dies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when Susan dies, all of a sudden Molly comes into the picture, right? Okay, so you got Molly, and his daughter,
Mm-hmm. Maggie.
So now you got Maggie, Molly, and Murphy. And I'm going to say he lost Molly. Like, when she became she's not the queen of...
The Winter Lady.
The Winter Lady. When she became the Winter Lady, he lost Molly. And it becomes very fucking apparent in this book. Like, she's on his side, but she can't help him necessarily whenever she wants. Like, she has to abide by rules.
Right, but the rules of the fairy courts are kind of, you can get around them.
You can, right? I'm just saying, like,
She ain't be doing that.
No, she is, but, like, Molly's not as
Yet free.
and able,
Yeah,
to be there for Harry in times of definite need, right? Like, when Murphy dies, for her to step in and be a friend, and instead he's dealing with it with Butters, who is very much a big part for Harry, but not it's not that deep, right?
that was super deep.
That moment, yeah.
But
there are things that shatter Harry's life. I don't think Harry would have reacted the way he did if Butters had died.
Yeah, of course not.
Okay, so he lost Molly.
He didn't lose. I don't think he lost Molly yet.
I think so. I think Maggie's is his last tether. This is what I'm saying. We already said Murphy's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, Maggie is his last tether.
Right.
But I don't think he's lost Molly yet. Molly is essentially in the same struggle that he is. But the more interesting thing is the more interesting thing about the two things is, like, the Winter Mantle, like, he has more control over the, like, fighting the Winter Mantle's thing. Like, it doesn't have as much power as being this Winter Lady. Like, that seems like a super powerful binding thing.
What kind of title is a fucking Winter Lady? Who wants to be the Winter Lady? Just saying.
You know, Miss Wiccan over there, you're going to learn a lot about that when it becomes winter time. The seasons are changing. Summer is giving the power to winter. You're going to read about it, trust me.
Who wants to be a fucking Winter Lady?
Molly does. She's pretty good at it.
Fuck Molly.
Okay. Anyway. I still am interested in, like, the progression of Harry as a character.
So do you think he's going to become a monster?
Well, that's why I'm worried. Like, the tethers are slowly going away. In my opinion. I don't think Molly... I think Molly's out of it. He still has Michael, though, which is interesting.
Well, he has Michael, Sansa, and Butters. And, like, the thing with Molly not being able to, like, intercede in that situation, that was a preordained sort of orchestrated circumstance.
No, I get that. I
So
understand
all
of it.
So it's not about her being free to be able to help.
No. But here's the thing: the fact that, like, she had, like, there is something that comes before Harry that she has to follow, whether it's preordained or whatever. There's going to come a point where Mab's like, "Yep, nope, you're not doing that. That's it." There is something held over her that she cannot act on her own free will. Which I think takes her off the table.
But she can still act on her own free will. It just can't contradict the Queen's dictations. But there's also a way to get around those dictations. That's the point of winter. You have to be more conniving and treacherous than everybody else around you. Like,
no, I get it. But the fact that there are rules, I don't know, makes it, to me, it makes, there's a separation there.
It makes it more difficult, but there's a chance that you can remove the mantle.
There's a chance you could not be conniving enough and you fuck up.
But that's not going to happen with Molly.
Why? What says that?
Because she's already demonstrated it on multiple occasions that she is a stone cold killer.
Maybe those situations have been allowed. Maybe Mab never interceded. They're interjected.
No, she definitely would have interjected. That's the point of it. That's why Leah got fucking put on ice.
Right.
Right. Molly is proving her worth. If Molly steps out of line, dude, Mab sent Harry to kill Marva. Maeve.
I get that. I get all of that. There are rules. There are things. If Mab all of a sudden decides, like, yeah, no, you're not helping him, and she really wants to help him,
she would find a way.
Or she'd be fucking put on ice. Or killed. Or X, Y, and Z. There could come a time when fucking Mab comes and says to Harry, like, you gotta kill Molly. There was a point in time she told him that. In Battleground. There was something that said, if you don't do this, you better fucking kill her immediately.
No, Mab says that if she dies, you should kill Molly.
Right.
Right. But that's Mab saying these things to Harry. That doesn't mean Molly will turn evil. That's just Mab's understanding of what would happen once the title of queen is passed on.
But we don't fully understand what that mantle does.
It makes you a bona fide badass that can stand up against the eye of...
Right, but look what the
Balder.
Winter Mantle is doing to Harry.
And he's, like, controlling it.
Right.
Then you're saying...
He made the comment, like, she doesn't know how to control that. There was a comment that said he is worried about... He was comparing his control over the Winter Mantle, the Winter Night Mantle, to Molly's control over the...
Lady Mantle.
Right. And he was concerned about her control over that. He was not sure if she could actually control that.
But we've already established that Harry is an unreliable narrator. that he has prejudices and
You're
beliefs.
grasping at straws,
No, I'm not.
motherfucker.
I'm not. I'm making an argument. There is always a potential for her turning to the dark side and not being able to help, but she has shown that she is still trying to regain her, maintain her humanity. One of the biggest steps was her going to have dinner with her family, and her family understanding the situation and already knowing about it. So she thought that her tethers were gone, that her family would no longer want her, but she has us back. So that's going to allow her to maintain her humanity the same way that Maggie is going to be doing it for Harry.
Just like she shredded Ramirez apart.
That was a first time thing. She didn't know about that.
Oh, okay.
But
there are temptations.
Yeah, Terry has those temptations all the
Right.
time. And Molly did too. She didn't know the rules. Harry doesn't know the rules either. And all you gotta do is ask. All you gotta do is ask.
Alright, we will agree to disagree on this one.
Okay.
Because we ain't going nowhere. She's gone, in my opinion. She gone.
There is that potential because she did, by making that coat and that coin, Dresden does owe her a favor that she has to collect on
Right.
at some point.
Maybe she tells him to kill Mab.
Maybe Mab needs to die.
That brings into the whole question of Mab's how do I want to put that? Not control, but her finger in the whole protecting the gate.
How so?
Well, maybe Mab needs to die in Molly's opinion, but maybe Molly doesn't fully understand what Mab all does.
Oh no, she does
Right.
now. She does now because she from Cole, whatever the short story was with Molly, like she finds out why, like what Maeve was supposed to be doing by getting these younglings. Like she knows that these younglings that she's recruiting, this tithing that they do to Mab is to make the army to fight at the outer gates. So she
They
knows
say that explicitly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright. Done.
So she knows what
I'm
Mab
done.
does.
Yeah, I'm done. Alright.
Okay.
I don't remember that. I thought she just knew she was recruiting people.
Yeah, and they explain that.
But does she fully understand what the outer gates are? Keeping the outsiders out?
I would assume so because knows she's getting soldiers for that war, and there was I don't remember which book it was. It was the one, right? It was the horror story one. I forgot what it's called. Proven Guilty, where Mab was moving her forces out of the winter, the center of winter towards the edge, and Titiana was like bringing her forces to put Mab in check. And there's a conversation about like if Mab were to go crazy, like she could destroy everything, but her forces are smaller than Titiana's because half of her forces are sent to guard the gates.
Why is Mab more power? Why is winter more powerful than summer?
Destruction is more powerful than creation. Maybe.
I don't know. It's just a question that just came up just now. Cause like, I think it's been a question in the back of my head, but like I just was finally able to think of it and ask it. Like, why is winter more powerful than summer? Summer. They have titles. Fuck you.
Well,
Just saying, also in Wisconsin, winter lasts a week fuck longer than summer.
Oh, winter's more powerful up here.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe you should worship Titiana.
Fuck Titiana.
I'm just asking. Like, why is
Who
she?
named somebody Titiana though?
Jim Butcher.
No, isn't. I mean, I've found names similar for the winter shit.
No, it's probably whoever
Yeah,
decided to
he's
pen.
pretty legit.
Whoever
Like, a
decided to
lot of
pen
the
Irish
stuff you're
mythology.
talking about, like the things you talk about with your Wiccan stuff,
I feel like you just looked at my tits.
your Wiccan stuff definitely applies to some of this. Anyway.
Who names a person Titiana though? Who does that?
I don't know. Anyway.
Talk to Baylor. He'll have the answer for you. In the context of this, though, Summer wouldn't have the ability to actually fight the outsiders in the same manner that Winter does.
Why?
Because, like, they talk about how the Winter Court is always trying to stab you in the back. Like, the second you slip up is a second for them to take over your place. And if you aren't ruthless and cruel and willing to sacrifice people and have complete disdain and disregard for everybody else around you, that you are going to be the top apex predator.
So
you get taken down.
Because winter is a season that destroys all the things and summer is a season of creation, that's why. I'm just wondering why summer's not that way.
Well, we don't technically know what Summer's entire role is.
Right.
All we know is Summer's role is to keep Winter in check.
Right. But when Winter's out here destroying everything, why is Summer not at the gates? These are the questions I ask.
Well, I've been wondering that exact same thing.
Why the fuck at the end of Battlegrounds do they throw an outsider in there?
Oh, and Justine?
Yeah. And He Who Walks Beside.
Yeah, that kind of came out of left field.
Yeah, again...
Well, not out of left field entirely, because Goodman Gray is like, she's a femme fatale. She's a femme fatale. Hey,
no, I get that.
Dresden,
I get that. But, like, to throw her at that magnitude. And, like, that went back far. And I don't know about you, I did not see that in any of the other books. I did question how all of a sudden she could be with
Thomas.
Thank you. Thomas, like, they made it seem okay and legit, but, like, for her to heal all of a sudden and be conscious and, like, I understand the power of the White Court, but at the same time, too, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I always questioned that, too.
Oh, that's a deep... Yeah, I never... Well, however they explained it made sense that it was, like...
No, it does, but, like, they
well,
never...
no, it doesn't.
He never fully explained it.
Yeah.
Dresden is a narrator. He never fully was, like, had an understanding of how that came to be. All of a sudden, she was just, like, better, and she was around again. And he just assumed it was...
Power of love.
No, what's the bitch's name?
Laura?
Yes, thank you. Laura, and freeing her, allowing her, like, bringing her up. Like, he just assumed it was that. Right?
Yeah, like she facilitated her rehabilitation or whatever.
Right.
Because she had understanding of how to bring thralls back from the edge, maybe. But
Laura or Justine?
No, Laura.
Because
no.
what is, and that's the thing too, what is Laura's benefit of bringing Justine back around other than to tantalize her brother?
I don't know, to keep him in check.
Fair point.
Because
fair
he also...
Point. No, that's a fair point. But why bring her back to health then?
Oh, because...
She could have done that anyway.
Because it's her brother. She loves him. She's established that already. She's willing to invoke 3 of her fucking whatever boons from Mab in order to
Right.
get her brother.
Right. No, that's a fair point too. That never sat well with me. Her just all of a sudden being back and everything's okay.
Oh, see, it never not.
But
It makes sense now, yeah.
and in hindsight 2020, she led Dresden into some pretty fucked up shit at times too.
All the time.
But also helped him to make sure he got to the places he needed to be, which maybe are the outsiders, like, this just came to my head, are the outsiders manipulating all of this to get, like, okay, so Harry's taking down all these supernatural things, or these well, not gods, but, like, he now took down a titan. Is that weakening the mortal realms
defenses? Yeah.
Right,
Well, no, because like the Red
right,
Court,
so that they can get in?
yeah, because like the Red Court, you would think would be a very big deterrent to the outsiders.
Right.
Plot, but now that they're gone, that created that power vacuum in which the Fomor came out, which was all orchestrated by He Who Walks Beside.
Right.
Apparently.
Right. And at some point...
So what, was Justine always infected? Then? Because that's a question. When did she become infected?
Well, they, like, alluded to it. It was long before she was pregnant. It was before she was pregnant.
But how long before?
Well, that's the question. And then, so, running on that idea of the gods have to have believers to exist, right? Are the outsiders these gods that were possibly either cast off or new gods trying to gain a foothold in reality?
I don't think they're new gods because they all have names and stuff. So everyone knows who they are.
The outsiders?
Yeah.
Like, they have specific names other than He Who Walks Beside?
Those are proper names.
Alright, so now we know...
He Who Walks Behind, He Who Walks Before.
Those were named?
Yeah.
Okay. He Who Walks Behind, He Who Walks Before, He Who Walks Beside.
Yeah. He Who Walks Behind is the one that Harry killed twice. Or defeated twice. He Who Walks Before is the one who shows up when they assault Demon Reach.
Would it not be an interesting concept that Winter is the gatekeeper of the gods that are worshipped during a certain era, period of time? But then you have the Denarians. That kind of fucks that up.
But the other thing is that the courts have changed hands quite frequently. I don't know if quite frequently, but they have changed before, because Hades was... So, like, that brings in, like, a different flavor to it about the winter and summer thing, because Hades is the lord of the underworld. And you would think his, like, opposite counterpart would be Zeus.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's interesting, too, because when I looked that up, and you look at the Olympians, they, like, cast that off as, like, a separate thing. So does that mean he doesn't have a counter? Like a balance?
Hades doesn't?
Yeah.
I thought it was always Zeus.
Yeah, or it would be... Isn't it interesting? But just go with me for a minute. Like, when you were like, who's the last... thing that I'm going to see, right?
Demeter.
Yeah, and then I was, like, naming all of them, and I was like, but then there's one who's not considered it because they were part of the underworld, which would be Hades.
Yeah, because there's the chthonic gods and the Olympians.
Right, I get that, but...
So unless, like, those are the two separate pantheons, like... The chthonic gods' opposition is the Olympian gods. Just as winter and summer.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, the fact that they cast it off in that aspect, like maybe, I don't know.
Well, no, there's questions with like the whole winter summer thing, especially since they talked about in Haiti when they were in Hades, they saw that statue of the three fates of like the Hecate, and one of them looked like Molly.
I mean, that was cool that they threw that in there too. Sorry, just gotta add that as a side note, especially with everything we've been reading lately. Yeah, no, it's a. I don't know, man. There's so many questions, and like we dive super deep into this stuff, just like, what's the dagger? What's the dagger? Turned out to be the Spear of Destiny. Yeah. Like
it was cool, but it was also like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we're diving really deep into something that's probably just like something fucking stupid that we're overlooking again and overthinking, because we in our heads like we want this to be some grand epic thing, and don't get me wrong, it was grand and epic, but like I don't know, maybe we give Butcher too much credit for like really going deep.
Where at the same time
it's not. I don't want to say that it's not enjoyable. Don't say that, but I'm just saying like.
You were just giving him mad props for how deep he's gone into, like, the lore. Multiple occasions. Like, Butcher knows his shit.
No.
And that's the thing. Like,
not
really
deep in the lore, but, like, having legit... Like, there is legit... You can look this stuff up. It's like the fucking Secret Machines. What is it? It's, like, fiction, non-fiction. Like... It's a fictional story based on non-fiction things. Like, he clearly looks up gods, goddesses, like, fairy lore, all this stuff. I kid you not, like, I read that Bigfoot book, which was very much about fairies and shit. It crosses over. Like, he's pulling from legit folklore. So I guess it's fiction. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's pulling from stuff that we can know and look into, which is why... I keep trying to do this thing where I'm like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna fucking do, but then it just turns into be something stupid.
You're just hoping for something more obscure.
Right. Yeah, that could be.
Not that it's necessarily stupid. Or
well, no,
not deep.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. The fucking dagger just being the Spear of Destiny was kind of like, all right, well, that was obvious. Like, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you and I were really puzzled about that. We spent about a good hour talking about it. Probably 2 hours talking about it, Googling it, and, like, looking up all this different shit. We had text message conversations. We had a fucking in-person conversation. Like, that's the thing. Like, I
wasn't disappointed by it. But then that's the thing where you gotta temper your expectations, right. And then that's maybe where the issue with the most recent example would be like Star Wars, where people had built up this entire thing, and like they lived or died by the theories that were gonna be happening, and then those theories didn't happen, and everybody was pissed off.
But I mean, we had our theories about Battleground and shit, and like I wasn't pissed off. Like. There's a difference between having theories and... I'm not...
Maybe your issue is that I have no issue with coming up with theories. I think it's a lot of fun, but I want what actually happens in the story to exceed my expectations.
Yeah, and so far that hasn't been disappointed. Also, I don't want it to not follow the story. Does that make sense? Like, he's built upon something, and like everything.
Wait, what? You want it to adhere to canon?
I mean, everything that happened made sense. Have I been a canon basher or what?
Kinda. Just like DC Comics and stuff.
That's fucking different. Like I said, if you want to fucking read like. If you want a character that doesn't grow, read a fucking comic book. Like, I think that is a perfect fucking the Department of Truth. You want to live in a hole and you want to read the same thing over and over and over again, go read a comic book. Batman's still the same age he was fucking how many years ago?
Yeah.
He's Batman. He's the same age. Bruce Wayne, same age. Hasn't aged a day. Just like The Simpsons. How many fucking years? Bart should be like fucking 33 by now. Probably older than that. I think he came out before I was born. I don't know. No, probably after I was born. He's probably about 30.
Yeah.
But they don't do that.
but-
It's a time vacuum.
Everybody
You
else in the Simpson ages. Like, there's other kids that were younger than Bart, Maggie, and Lisa that have grown up.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like... Anyway.
So far, I think everything is adhering.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed at all. I'm just saying, like, as a canon basher of DC, I just don't get it.
No, we were
Just
talking
tell
about
a good
canon.
story.
Well, yeah. Well, you were just all the arguments about like adhering to canon that I had brought up. You just brought up in defense of like Dresden and how like stories should be told, and that was the argument that people use for canon in comics. And you always bash on them about it.
I do,
And
because how can you hold a canon for something that's existed for so long and has changed canons, and those people haven't been up in arms? Again, it's about that platform that you have to fucking be important.
No. It was that one thing where people, they just think the thing that they grew up with is the best thing, and they think that changes that, threatens their hold. They're essentially gatekeepers. They say if it doesn't happen the way that I think it should happen, it's bad.
Right. But my view on it is you have a choice. You can go and pay money to go see that Star Wars movie with these high expectations. And if you still do, and you can quote me on this, you're a fucking moron. Lucas already fucked it up with episode 1 and 2 and 3. If you want to use the Star Wars fucking analogy.
That was just the easiest one I could think of.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, if that's what you like, go rewatch it. Go reread it. Enjoy it. You're never going to recapture that. You were at... And I know this is going to be the same thing for Kai. Like, there are things that happen when you are at a certain age and they just fucking hit you. You're never going to recreate that. You are chasing a fucking dragon. Truth.
Nah, I disagree. I think you can still get hit the same way.
With
You have to
something
be.
different. It's not. You're never.
Oh yeah, not with the same.
Okay,
thing.
that's what I'm saying. Like, for us, Star Wars is 4, 5, and 6. It's always going to be 4, 5, and 6. Because that is what we fucking saw when we were growing up.
Nah,
And then...
I disagree. I think they could do another Star Wars of that same level. They just haven't yet.
No, for me, that Star Wars was... I mean, yeah, sure. If they decide to, like, blow off all the CG shit and say, we're not doing a CG movie and decide to do it old school, maybe they could.
Then they could do it that way.
Mm-hmm. But they won't.
Right, because it's easier to do it CGI, maybe? I don't know how that works.
Nobody's going to fund that shit. The fucking
Dude,
movie
Disney,
studios ain't going to do that shit.
Disney could fund it, no problem.
They could. They're not going to. They're going to be like, do you want to commit financial suicide? See, at the end of the day, like...
Yes, they do want to commit.
We all have to realize it's a business. Books are a business. So, DC, you can think and say whatever you want. Their decisions are based on dollars and cents.
Okay, stupid tangent. Back to Dresden.
You disagree. Okay, so all right.
Well, no, I don't disagree or agree. We've had that conversation
Yeah,
multiple times.
All right,
It's a moot point at this point.
Yep. Chill out. Drink some more water. All right.
So you're okay with Marcone having a coin?
No.
Not okay.
Podcasting though.
What the fuck? Chill out.
I'm so chill.
Okay. Then let me finish this.
That was like the first 5 words I said, bitch.
Anyway. I am not okay with it, but it makes sense. Because they have to somehow... Dude, it made sense the way he acted in peace talks.
Yeah, he did have a very... He had a huge change in demeanor. Or not change, but it was exemplified.
No, he was Mr. Big Dick swinging in the room. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you're going to fuck with me? Yeah, I'm not backing down. Like, you knew. And I noticed that, too. I'm like, wow. That's, like, that's, the deception was, Marcone is calculating, right?
Mm-hmm.
He always is. He plays chess. He thinks fucking 5 steps ahead. He always does. Dresden's given him that credit. And to see him stand, like, when that Titan walked in, right? And he's just like, yep, okay. Like, there was something else there. I mean, it's a fucking Titan.
Yeah. Everybody pretty much took notice and was kind of apprehensive, but Marcone's just like...
Right.
Same shit, different day.
Which coin does he have again?
Unreal?
Yeah.
I think. I'm pretty sure it was whatever Snake Dude had.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. When he busted it out at that time, thought it was cool.
Well, yeah, it was definitely super cool. But it ruins, in my opinion, Marcone. Because it's like, it would be the same... It's the same thing with, like, Superman and Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is an interesting villain because he's human. Fighting, essentially, a god.
Yeah.
So if you just
Fair point, but at the same time, too, like... Harry's raised up, you kind of have to raise the stakes around him.
But there was the one short story where it focused on the Fomar dudes coming into Marcone's hideout, and he is able to... He's planned so many steps ahead to thwart an assault on him by a magical opponent, and he actually has a means in which to kill the magical opponent, who is vastly outside his weight class in that thing, and he wins. And then at the end you realize that all of these defenses were for Dresden when he finally decided that he's had enough of Marcone's shit and he's going to come in and destroy him. And Marcone's like, yep, I will spend all of my money, all of my resources. I will go to the Never Never and get, like, fucking crazy. Which I know it makes sense in that context for him to get the coin, but it also sort of cheapens his ingenuity.
But how long has he had the coin?
After Skin Game.
How do you know that? Oh, yeah.
It would have to be after Skin Game.
Okay. When did that short story happen?
Before Skin Game.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying after Skin Game because there would be no reason for him to ally. There's a possibility he had it before. I would say there would be no reason.
When did the coin leave Snake Man? When did they get the coin?
That happened in the fucking Grave Peril.
Okay, so why are you saying Skin Game then?
Because Marcone and Mab fucked over Nicodemus because Nicodemus took Marcone hostage. Unless that's when he got the coin, was in whenever... That would make the most sense. He got the coin in whatever book that was, where Marcone is taken hostage because Nicodemus wants to kill Ivy. he got tempted, and that's when he got the coin. So
Yeah.
maybe he had the coin then in that short story.
Yeah.
That would make the most sense. So he's had it for at least 5 books. And then the reason that he fucked with Nicodemus is because he's not playing on Nicodemus's terms. He's not allying himself with him.
Right.
He's maybe on Daedre's team.
Well, either way, like, Harry had a certain control over the coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be logical to think that Marcone could have a certain control over the coin, and Marcone is a man of himself.
Right. The same way that
explains why he might fucking screw over Nicodemus, because he wants to be the head honcho
of the Denarians. Yeah.
So it's gonna be is a whole nother fucking level, man.
So it's gonna be Nicodemus and versus Marcone. That would be.
Maybe that's what the fucking Denarians trilogy books coming up.
Oh, the Apocalypse
trilogy.
It could be.
Oh my god, that fucking opens up so many possibilities. And if he got the coin, and he was able. Was that before or after Harry had buried the coin? I think he still had. What's her name?
Lassiel's coin.
Yep. Which, for him in the short story to be able to build all those defenses against Dresden, he would have to have some sort of information to understand. Granted, he could have done it through normal fieldwork or whatever, but Lucille was obviously pissed off that she couldn't infect Dresden. Was she, like, reporting back? You know, did she have that ability to talk if he had the coin?
Yeah. Maybe the coins can communicate with each other.
I'm going deep. I'm going deep dive there. That's a stretch.
No, he had gotten rid of the coin before whatever book that was.
All right.
Because that happened in White Knight when...
Nah, he still had the coin when he fucking took out Ivy. Or when he saved Ivy.
No, because he had Soulfire then.
Oh, okay, yeah, my bad. Yeah, that's the first book. That's the first book he had, Soulfire.
Yeah, so he lost it the book before.
Right. That's interesting. Oh, man. See, and that was the thing with Marcone having the coin. I'm just like, that's gonna get interesting. That motherfucker's greedy as fuck.
Yeah, I'm liking it a little bit more now. I still kind of like the idea of him being a human fighting a wizard and somehow being able to best him. But him not wanting to be part of the Denarians, or like showing that he's better than Dresden, because like Dresden might have been able to be swayed by it. Dresden was actually willing to take up the coin in changes. That was one of his options.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't find that out until after the fact, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you found it out in Ghost Stories.
Right.
It was Mab, the coin, or the fucking whatever that book was. Kremlers.
No, but you can have one.
I don't know where mine are or my letters or any of that stuff, I guess.
I think it's on the table. Anyway. What else you got?
That fight with the Orc King. That's his name. I forgot his name. And Titiana and Odin against the Titan. That one fight where they're all going through all the possibilities. was fucking super cool.
Yeah, the later half of the book was pretty epic. I don't know. Like you said, that was a book you could not put down. There was no good place to stop and go to sleep. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I smashed. Oh, 3 days. 3 days I smashed that book.
Yeah. Well, I stopped after the fucking Marva showing up and Dracul, which we'll get to in a second. I stopped there. I didn't want to stop, but I stopped. But then I read the rest of that book just straight through.
Yeah.
So it sucks that you weren't able to do that. But you got to enjoy it for longer.
I mean, it's life.
Yeah. But, okay, so Dracul shows up. And not only that, you find out he's a Starborn.
Right.
Just like Harry.
Right.
So there are at least 2 Starborns.
Right. There's probably more. That didn't surprise me.
That there are more Starborns? Well, yeah, because, do you want to know who another one is?
Oh. How do you know? Man, I fucking pee.
Beer break?
Yeah. We can do beer break. Fuck. How do you know?
Word of
Short
Jim.
Story?
Word of Jim.
Fuck. No, then I don't want to know. Alright. We're back. But
We're calling it.
Yep.
We got more things to talk about, but
Too
tonight
many
is
cans in.
Yeah, tonight is not the night. It could be, though. Why is winter stronger than summer? There's
it
gotta
makes
be.
sense logically. Winter destroys, summer creates.
But it's a yin and yang thing.
No, it really is. I don't think we got to this, but like, is it the queens? The ones above Mab? What are they?
Crones?
In the cabin? The two
Yeah.
in the cabin?
I think they're the mothers.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what they are. The mothers.
Mother Summer and Mother Winter in the cabin. Like, you have this, like, you have them up here, right? And then you got Mab and Titiana and the ladies and the knights, right? And they're up here, like, down here it's like fucking cutthroat, what? And then at the top you have the two mothers living in a cabin together, right? Like, interacting, chilling out by the fire, in their rocking chairs. Like, that's the vibe I get from, like, the scenes that Harry has been there. And it's such, like, to them, up here, it's not a big deal, right? They coexist. It changes. The seasons change. They tilt back and forth, right? And down here, it's like, we're gonna fuck each other up! Like, it's, how do you get from there, right? The constant, not even war, right? But, like, there's tension. There's, like, this, they don't mix. Like, it's water and oil. Winter and summer. Like, but up here, like, they live in the same fucking cabin. In the woods.
Yeah, I'm very interested in like what all those what the rules are with the mantles. Like we know the ladies can't reproduce. Like, they're super horny all the time, but they can't reproduce. That's only something you would think the queens could do.
Why are they always female?
Because it goes back to the like patriarchy. Eradicating femininity from the pantheon.
We never ended the podcast, you know that, right?
Yeah, we can go like we can cut out like all the political stuff and that comment and just go like straight to that last bit on Dresden.
We're
and then your
just
outro.
two toucans who can rant because we got two tall cans.
And we're sick of talking to each other.
My name's Jeremy.
I was JD.
The truth is out there somewhere. I stole that from X-Files. I just learned that tonight.
Wait, what? You
What?
Know? You didn't
No,
know?
I'm just kidding. I just remembered it tonight. I had to ask.
No.
What's our tagline? Keep on chugging?
I don't think we have a tagline.
Yeah, what's the tagline? We're just two toucans who can rant because we got two tall cans. I'm Jeremy. You're JD. Was JD. You was JD. What's the tagline? I don't want to say peace out. That seems fucking played out.
I think it usually
Read
was
on?
It was usually just you getting very angry and telling everybody to...
Fuck off.
Yeah, I think. Oh.
You're listening to the dulcet tones. I know I said that a lot.
Yeah, you said that like...
A lot.
Yeah.
We need a tagline.
Oh, man.
Tall cans in the air.
Woot woot.
Let me see them. Fuck you. You're fucking failing me.
Go on a bender with books?
Alright, we're just two toucans who
no,
can
that's
rant
the-
because we got two tall cans. I'm Jeremy. I almost said JD. I'm Jeremy.
You're that far gone already?
He was JD. Oh, yeah. Dude, I fucking had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll call it 7 beers plus the fucking 3 beers I had at Steph's at the in-laws. Call them that. It's been an interesting evening. Ate some pizza, jalapeno style, and everybody bitch.
Nice.
These jalapenos are so spicy. Isn't it spicy? No, I'm good. I didn't think it was that hot.
There is something, though, about jalapenos on pizza. Sometimes they do get really spicy.
I don't know, man. My spice factor, like, I feel like 2 years ago I was like down here, and now I'm like up here. I really manned up. I enjoy the burn. People are like, oh, my lips are burning. Yeah, motherfucker, that's what's supposed to happen. Maybe if you ate the jalapeno in one bite instead of like, oh, I'm gonna bite through half. It won't be as hot then. Or just fucking eat the shit. The pieces were cut so small I could have inhaled one in one bite.
I think the ending thing had been like, we're just two toucans with two tall cans who can rant. Because we got two tall cans. You two can be a toucan. You two can rant if you have two tall cans. I had something, but...
You had something.
Yeah, but you never wanted to say that.
Yeah.
You also had, like, intros for us.
Yeah.
And then you just
They were
like...
bad.
You were just like, fuck it.
We're just two cans who can rant because we got two tall cans. I'm Jeremy.
Oh, it's JD.
Why you was?
Because it's the end. Like, I was this person. It works.
If you ain't rocking the tall cans, use a bitch. Peace out, motherfuckers.
See, that's usually the tagline. I don't know. If you could do a belch, that would be a...
Alright, I'll do it, but you gotta edit it in. Okay, hold on.
You don't have to do it. No. You're good. We can actually come up with a tagline that doesn't involve you Oh, if you could do the entire outro while belching.
We're just two cans who can rant because we got two tall cans. I'm Jeremy.
One's JD.
And if you ain't rocking the tall can, use a bitch, motherfucker. That was bad.
That was weird.
What the fuck? Fuck. I'm a bitch ass belcher. And I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, fuck some bitches,